Growing up, played music. My brother and I fell in love with Metallica and Pantera and Megadeth. And so we kind of fell in love with music. Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters was actually my drum teacher as a kid. Skateboarding and music kind of went hand in hand. And in the early 90s, skateboarding didn't directly lead to drug use, but obviously there's resources in that community. Drug use, partying was kind of part of the culture, was part of the scene. Like anybody else, I had some stuff going on in my house. I had some trauma that was going on at home. My house wasn't exactly the place that I like to be or like to stay or like to spend time in. Looking back now, I didn't know that there was the perfect recipe, so to speak, that Molotov cocktail. When you lit that wick or you used those drugs for the first time, that thing was going to explode the way that it did. I ended up just ingesting drugs, getting addicted to hard drugs, got introduced to methamphetamine, pills. Before I graduated that year, at 17 years old, went into a meth psychosis and got sent to a psych ward. Came out, went to my first treatment center at 17. Was scared to death of using methamphetamines again, so I started using pills. Right around that time where I started dabbling in pills, trying to get my act together, I had a knee injury that required surgery. MCL got torn, meniscus torn. So I went to the doctor, and this was right at the peak of the Oxycontin epidemic. So I was like the poster child for the opioid epidemic. I got that prescription and wheels came off, man. Wheels came off the car. Started doctor shopping, started selling prescriptions. The typical story, man, that we hear all across America. And out in California, it was the wild, wild west. So you could basically, you could purchase doctors' phone numbers and doctors' contact information and just exploit the doctor. So we were just running amok, burning up and down the coast, filling prescriptions at multiple different pharmacies. Eventually it turned into a heroin addiction. And no joke, man, like 22 years old, I had a needle hanging out of my neck in a Starbucks bathroom. Eventually I got hepatitis C. And it comes with the life. And things got darker and darker and darker and darker. And a lot of my friends died and went to prison. And I got the hepatitis C and I got on interferon, which is kind of similar to chemotherapy. It was a 48-week treatment that had a success rate of, I think, less than 30%. A lot of people commit suicide on it. A lot of people just didn't finish the treatment because of the side effects were pretty intolerable.